Susie and Kat. We're at South by Southwest and we've been visiting the exhibitor hall.
We have. We've been roaming the aisles and aisles. It is the trade show at South by Southwest.
One of the things I love is that you get to meet startups across all areas of tech. And there's actually a couple of Australian exhibitors, 99 Designs, who again we've mentioned on the show before, and a new organisation called Posse.
Yeah, now this was really cute because Posse, at first glance, looks very much like Foursquare, which we'd actually just heard about in one of the keynote presentations this morning. But actually, when we got into further conversation, we found out that it's very different to Foursquare after all.
So you got to interview Rebekah Campbell, the CEO.
Yeah, and she was telling us, and you'll see in the clip, that she was telling us that her background is about promoting bands, but what she wanted to do was create a more friendly, female-orientated social search and social referral engine about the places that we all love.
Let's take a look.
Well, we've been walking around the trade show and we've discovered some fellow Aussies. So, Rebekah, welcome to Social Media for Small Business.
Thanks. Hi, nice to be here.
Thanks. Now, you were just saying that this isn't your first South by, but it is your first South by in tech. Tell us a bit more about your history.
So I used to be a band manager, so I managed about 11 or so Australian bands. And so I came out here for 6 years, launching a band pretty much every year. And so it was a very different experience. But then it was all about getting bands, getting the A&R community and the media to come to your show. And it was all up to the band, but this is much harder when it's actually your own thing. You can't just put it all on the band.
So right now you're launching a new app called Posse. Tell us what Posse is.
So Posse helps you find the favourite places of your friends and then also your friends of friends. So when you're in a new place, you can use it to search and it will show you the favourite places of, firstly your friends, but then also friends of friends, friends of friends of friends, and it'll show you how you're connected to the person who's made the recommendation. So it's super useful if you want to find a great place, whether it be a gym or a yoga studio or a restaurant or whatever, wherever you are.
Okay, so let's imagine, like I'm based in Brisbane, I'm in Melbourne because I haven't been there for a while, so I want to say, give me some recommendations of a great wine bar.
Yeah, exactly. So you just use the app probably, or you can use the website and search wine bar near me, and it will show you, it will rank the results first on your friends and also the closeness to what it is that what you've asked for, and also the closeness to your location, and then friends, and it will show you friends of friends and who they're friends with, and so you can work out how you're connected with them and whether you want to trust and take that recommendation or not.
Okay, so if a teetotaler recommended a wine bar, then I possibly would say, well, maybe that recommendation isn't so fantastic, but if a fellow red wine lover recommended a place.
Yeah, exactly. I've seen my mum's on there, and so some of her friends have recommended restaurants, and it's like, well, probably not the same kind of restaurants and bars that I would like, but I can also, have other friends that I know have the same taste as me, and so I'm sure their friends probably would.
Okay. So how is it pulling in that social data? What platforms is it leveraging off?
So we've built a game, much like Foursquare is a game, we've built our own game, which we think is much better than the Foursquare game. So what happens is you use, and if you can see, this is a street. You actually can build your own virtual street. So you choose a theme for your favourite places that you want to add. So it could be brunch or New York or bars or fitness or whatever. And then you add your favourite merchants and you get this kind of beautiful little depiction of all your favourite places. And then you can share that with your friends. And then you can build more and more streets as you make comments on your friends' places.
Okay.
So we found it's a lot about status, right? Because people like to show off that they've discovered lots of great bars in New York, or they've discovered lots of great bookshops around the world. And so you can really show that on a lovely hand-drawn street. But because it's so fun to make, people are adding a lot of content to it. Okay,
well that answers one of the questions I was going to ask in terms of how is it different to platforms like Yelp, like Foursquare. How is it encouraging that referral engine? So you're saying it's because we get to create our own little world.
Yeah, it's fun. It's like, Foursquare is a game as well, but the game of Foursquare is all about checking in, broadcasting where you are, becoming the mayor, being there more than your friends, and that's a very male kind of game. That's just why about 70% of their users are male, whereas ours is much more about curating your actual favourite places and building these beautiful streets, which is about status, and that's a much more kind of female thing. So our users are about 72% female. So
okay, different audience. Very cute. So obviously you've launched. Is this your launch, or you've obviously got a community of users already?
Yeah, we've got about about 20,000 signed up shops now around the world, and so we've already, that's just been through our private beta, but this is our official, launch. It's hard in a startup, you never really have a moment where it's finished. Yeah. It's always just getting slowly better and better and better, and this is a point where we were like, okay, we're going to aim for this, and then we're going to say that we've launched, and then try and go as big as possible. But of course it's all you see is all the things that aren't quite yet finished about it. But
all right. So Posse is definitely an app for women to download so they can build their own streets. One of the questions that we like to ask all of our guests, Beck, is what is your favourite social media app or tool? So apart from Posse, what's your favourite social media app and tool, and why? Why do you love it so much?
I mean, I really love Twitter. I spend a lot of time on Twitter. I've just gotten into it probably over the last year or so. And I just find that, I really love to share I like to read a lot of story, like articles online. And I find it a great way of sharing articles that I find, but I also find it a great resource for getting information. I follow a whole lot of really interesting people, and it just means I can constantly see what they're reading all the time. So instead of having to read all these different publications, now I just follow Twitter, and I find that really helpful.
Awesome. Beck, thank you so much for being on Social Media for Small Business.
So, tell me, your thoughts on Posse?
Look, at first glance, I was a bit worried that it's a bit too similar to, say, Foursquare or to some of the other check-in apps. What I do like about it, though, is it's an opportunity, I think, particularly for people who take a lot of pride in the precincts that they engage with or that they really love. They get to build their own little virtual community. So I was kind of having flashbacks from my primary school days of playing on SimCity, wanting to pass on recommendations now about my favourite coffee places or wine places, and kind of going, oh, wouldn't it be cute to build my own my streets of recommendations. I haven't logged into the app yet. One of the things that does concern me is it doesn't at the moment integrate with other platforms like Facebook or Twitter, so I have to go in and create another profile. And it's funny, actually, that it's interesting how lazy or how trained we've become. If you can't just pull your profile across from Facebook, it's like, oh man, I have to create...
find another photo and another tweet, a handle.
A handle, that's right. But look, the interface just of the app is beautiful. It looks nice. As she said in the interview, orientated far more towards the female users. So yeah, I think it's got some legs. I'd really like to see it take off a bit.
Yeah, I'm glad that she clarified that market is women, because when I looked at the branding, it's very soft, it's very feminine, but there was nothing about the concept that to me initially felt like it was for women.
Yeah, exactly. And particularly her review, or the distinction, if you like, on the game mechanics in the game or in the app, quite different to quite different to Foursquare, which again I'm quite looking forward to getting my head around, because regular listeners will know I love Foursquare, love the game mechanics in it. It'd be really interesting to see how that's been rebuilt from a female perspective.
Great. So check it out, posse.com. Thanks for joining us.